So importantly, note, because I'm sharing my screen, there won't be any game audio coming in. Just try to limit the amount of dead space.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. It looks like we are live.
Sweet.
Okay.
Wonderful. So I'm gonna give people a little bit to file on in. If either Lucas or Gold can make sure that we get this plugged into the Golden Cup announcements, that would be huge.
Yeah, let me.
So for this first bit, let's see here. So we'll just give people a minute here. Hold on, Kersey Bongo. I can decide this. It was Kersey. Kersey was first.
Ooh.
Dang.
Tough.
Yeah. Brutal, one might say. Brutal indeed. So for those of you who are here kind of at the start, I just want to preface with kind of what the plan is for today. We're going to be having kind of, as kind of the inaugural podcast, we're going to be looking at, oh, the music is loud? Okay. No, we're good now? Okay. So kind of the plan for today is looking at, one, because it's our inaugural podcast, heading over kind of a history of the org and how we got to where we are today. Talking about where we actually are today, including, it talks about the Gold Cup and how our current season looks. Then moving on into what kind of our plans are coming up into the future, looking into split number 4, looking into stuff a little more longer term, and just kind of, it's me. It's me and Lucas as the host for today. We have a guest in terms of Zach. Some of you may know him. He is our AGM for Rocket League. And
He's okay.
Yeah, he does stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I would say he made it best.
Of course, we have our beautiful stream technician Gold Dude. Well, yes, me and Lucas will be here. We'll do most of the talking. He's Gold Dude's off in the background, being a little sick boy, and he's putting in a lot of big work there on the back end. So,
yep,
big props to him.
He was given 2 weeks to live, so if anyone wants to step up,
yeah, if anybody wants to step up,
we've got a position available.
Take out a life insurance policy in his name under false pretenses.
Yep. Open up a credit card in his name.
him and Noah. We could have two.
Yep.
No, there's no consent.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. So yeah, with that, I'm just gonna give people a couple more minutes here. Probably actually start the convo at probably 8:05 MST, 10:05 for our beautiful folks over on the East Coast, and at 6:05 for people in Pacific time. If you're a time zone out of that, I'm sorry.
But that would be 7:05 Pacific time.
7:05 Pacific time. My bad. I was thinking Alaska time.
Yeah, they're only an hour behind us.
AKDT is 6:05.
Not golden hour related, but if anyone's into baseball right now. Final for the World Baseball Classic is on. USA trails Japan 3-1. Bottom of the seventh.
Ooh, oh no. USA.
We're hoping.
You know, as people were saying in the World Cup times, time to give them some freedom.
Yep.
Round two, one might say.
They could be saying the same thing.
That's true. Oh, but yeah. So with that, now we have hit the 805 MST mark, the 705 PST mark, the 1005 EST mark, and the 605 AKDT mark. So I think it's about time we get into this. To start off with, as we have displayed on screen, we have our Crew Clash coming up this Wednesday, tomorrow, actually. You know, it is a 2v2 event, which we will be giving out which will be giving out Redbubble discount codes to our new GHE merch as prizes. On top of that, there will be special Discord roles also given out to the wieners. So, you know, sign up with a friend, sign up with whoever, and, you know, see if you can get, you know, you can look to snag some of that GHE merch. Redbubble's making it too expensive. Trust me, we know. You know, it'll be a great time to snag up a discount code and be able to actually pick something up. From Tycobi, hello, you like merch? Well, we just launched some new exactly, who doesn't? We just launched some new merch, you know, over on Redbubble.
And the Redbubble link is in our Discord. It should be in its own channel.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yep. And in addition to that, if you just go to redbubble.com, search up Golden Hour ES, then you'll be able to find it on Redbubble by itself as well. So, you know, go cop some of that beautiful GHE merch signed up by or created by Gold Dude. And so yeah, it's just a great opportunity to finally snag some up. The way you sign up for the Crew Clash is now is a bad time for my laptop to be having issues. That is not what I wanted to pull up at all. Okay. Yo, Karto, welcome in. Yoti, welcome in. So, I'm sorry, y'all. So the way you can sign up for the event is if you go into our Discord, in the announcements, Goldwood recently put out a link, which I can repost in the chat for everybody.
The black screen, by the way.
Hopefully Goldwood's working on that. Otherwise, I don't know what's happening there. But if you go to that, you'll be able to sign up for the Crew Clash tomorrow. Just click on that and fill out all your information for Crew Clash number 3. Oh, it's just black screen. It's just black screen right now. So we're hoping. I see you working on that. So we're chilling. So, you know, with that comes in. Sorry, looks like my Rocket League crashed. With that, it just comes into a matter of actually signing your team up. Here, I can actually walk you guys through that process a little bit more here. Let me get the link back up. So, you go into StartGG, you click on the link. You're on this public end. You click Join Now. It's going to ask you for some information. Make sure that you're following people. It's going to ask you to select an event, Crew Clash number 3. Have you select or create a team, link whatever Rocket League account on whatever platform you play on, and then you'll be able to check out for free, and you will be registered into the event. It's a pretty simple process. Let's just pin that. And yeah, so that's how you can enter our crew clash tomorrow night. Highly recommend you all enter. Once again, has the winners get a promo code for our merch. So there's that. There should be Kersey, but with the route we're having to go for streaming this right now, that is not ideal.
We'll be able to get face cams for future streams, but not for this first one tonight.
Not for this first one. Okay, well, my Rocket League's wanting to be a little stupid right now. Oh, you're gonna get black screen there for just a second while I pull my task manager up. Excuse me while I dox myself. Oh,
Sometimes it's alright.
Rocket League shouldn't be open. This is weird. Anyway. Yeah, y'all can now see the games I'm running. Have fun with that. Yes, confirm to stop Rocket League. There we go. So, with that being said, I guess we can now start talking about what we planned to, just kind of how the org started up. I think was the first topic of business, how we got to where we are today. So with that, I mean, I guess the best place to start is at one point in time, Shalona competed for a different org. Me and the GM for it had a rough time on some pretty fundamental issues. And so, while still wanting to compete, I thought to myself, I could do it better. Started talking with Gold Dude that night. Yep, January 19th, 2022. And, oh yeah, by the way, y'all now get to see my scuffed free play. But, started January 19th, 2022. Talking with Gold Dude that night about, well, can we really make this a thing? Start off as me pitching him an idea, then he kind of jumped on board immediately, more or less. And so, thus, we kind of started up. We started off with just kind of the people I knew off the bat. Mr. Eucalyptus here wasn't super far behind on that, only by a couple of days, I think.
Yeah, so when you pitched the idea to me, it was actually the day that I got back from winter break. I believe it was the 21st. It was during a kind of almost LAN party that we had at school.
That's right.
And it was just something that, you said you were starting up, and I thought that could be fun.
Yeah. And so thus, Mr. Eucalyptus came on board. He didn't quite have the role he does now at that point in time. He came on mostly as a player at that point. My good friend, and some of you may know him, Slotho, or Soul Taking Sloth, as his epic is. Some of you may also just know him as Greg. He was also one of the first people on board. Came on and started competing with me. Avcro he jumped on really quick. Some of you may know him. Yo, we got Shoddy Smalls in the chat. What's poppin', dude? We're just doing kind of a mini podcast here. From there, looking at, yeah, so Avcro came on pretty quick. At the time we had one Mr. Sam Waffle jumped on board incredibly quick, and that was kind of where we started off at. Was we had really a team of 3 and a team of 2, and trying to find and establish a COD scene with Mr. Eucalyptus here, which we're still trying to do. But that's its own little beast we'll get to in a bit. And so, yeah, Lucas, is there anything I'm really missing from kind of the starting days?
I don't think so. Obviously, Rocket League is our main game. We've got Call of Duty with the release of the new Call of Duty and Warzone 2 and everything like that. We're getting that built up a little bit. We have Clash of Clans, I believe.
Not anymore. Sad, unfortunately.
Not anymore.
We're still
Okay.
open to having in the future, but the GM we had left.
Okay. But so yeah, those are the two games that we have right now, and we're always looking to start up some more games. We just need people to GM them, basically.
Well, and even then, I can GM them. Right now, we're looking for the player base. We have our first Overwatch 2 player. His interview's been done.
Yep.
So we're just looking for a team to build around them. And so from there we kind of move on into the true like when GHE truly started to take shape. Looking at at split number 2. Because towards the end of split 1, which started off as effectively 2 teams existing, we then had the original Premier team join, which, as some of you may know, Pink Roses was actually a part of at that point, along with Chupa Chair and Sleazy were kind of the mainstays for that team. The Food Wars man himself, yes. And then really we looked into at that point how could we expand, and split number 3 was our first real attempt at split number 2 was truly our first real attempt at that, where we featured, including unofficial teams, we had 6 teams, we had Premier Gold, Black and Red at the time. Yeah, then we had Pink, Blue, and Purple. Yeah. No, because we got rid of Black on the official teams. Yeah, in Black. So yeah, we had 7 teams at one point, and then we also featured 2 European teams at that point in time as well. Not a whole lot came out of them, which we're a little sad about, but hopefully that'll change in the near future, and with split number 4 coming up. And
not even just European, just
anywhere,
other region.
Yeah, and more teams, even in NA as well. And so and then we started looking at our kind of average rank across the org at that point in time. It found the average rank across the org was in the C1 to C2 range. It actually fell. I had a mathematical system for it at the time. Our average fell right in between C1 and C2, actually. Like, if you snagged it if you put on a decimal system, say it was between 1 and 2, it fell like a 0.6 or something, like along that line. This last split, just for a little bit of context, we were averaging being between C2 to C3, so we did go up a little bit, a little closer to the C2 end than C3, but still progression. These are all ranks taken from when splits started up, so we don't yet have any information or data from split number 3, which we're in right now. And then I think for split 2 that really wraps it up. We saw some great success in IAGL. Our premier team at the time, which was me, Avcro, Gator, Slotho, and Spicy. We looked at competing in the IGL Invitational, which is a Liquipedia B tier event at the time, and then IGL kind of shut down on us. We saw some great success out of our other teams in IGL as well. Yes, indeed. And that kind of leads us into.
It was GHE Black that was IGL champs, wasn't it?
Yes, and then we had our premier team in Tier 1, which we got 4th. We got 4th in Tier 1 2v2. So, starting to see some success in IGL, some major success. And then IGL unfortunately shut down, leading into this split, actually. Well, yeah, leading to kind of a hybrid split situation. Our timing around then gets weird because of everything that was happening at the time. Yeah, Shoddy, we will get to where you get involved in just a minute, my good lad.
Yeah, unfortunately, like after that, IGL win with GHE Black, like a lot of teams that were involved with GHE, like the official teams, even the unofficial teams were, a lot of them were signed up for the next IGL split, for that fall split, and then that's when IGL shut down. But at this point, that was kind of a blessing with that because that brought around, after kind of panicking for a couple days and then kind of just figuring out what to do for the next couple weeks, that brought about Golden Cup.
Yep, which for those of you who don't know, if any of you don't, that is the league that Golden Hour itself hosts. It does rank divisions, kind of like how IGL used to, with a couple of modifications. Jordan Nico, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. And so, we started up season 0 of the Golden Cup to kind of feel things out, see if it's something we could reasonably handle and do. Looking at our tier 1 threes, we only offered threes at the time. Our tier 1 champions were Celestials, with the runner-ups being the GHE Premier Team. And then for tier 2 threes, it was the unofficial team, GHE Black at the time. And then we had the runners-up in the unofficial team of GHE Blue, which actually now feature the champions of tier 2 threes are now mostly what make up our current official GHE purple team, and the runner-ups now both of them have signed up to become official players for us. We're looking at Yulti and Isaiah. Yulti plays for our official team, GHE Red. Isaiah is waiting for next split. And now we're just wrapping up our season 1 of Golden Cup. Our first tried and true season. We're entering our final week of regular season now, and we'll get into a little bit more about that later on. In terms of history, Zach, Lucas, did I miss anything?
I don't believe so. I think that basically covered everything. It's all the major stuff.
Wonderful. So yeah, with that, we can move into more topics. I'll get my bad Rocket League gameplay out of y'all's way here. Don't forget to sign up for the Crew Clash tomorrow, by the way. I swear it's sometimes a good time. aka it's always a good time. So let me pull up what's happened this split. A couple big things. We have our 4 official teams with their rosters up right now, and we have our GHE Premier Team. Then we have GHE Gold, GHE Purple, Purple, which is going to be here, and GHE Red. For those of you who don't know how that ordering gets decided, so before I continue on, Jordan Nico, the Crew Clash is a weekly event. Well, it's a bi-weekly event that Golden Hour Esports hosts, in which it's a 2v2 event. We're going to host one once again every other week, and the winners of it get a special role in our Discord and a 15% off discount code to our merch store on redbubble.com. The link is the pinned comment, or somebody, actually I can just throw it back in the chat for you as well if you want to sign up. And so I highly recommend you do. I know that I'm going to be trying to enter it. If I win it, the code will be given out away on our Twitter. So don't forget to follow our Twitter, join the Discord, all that fun jazz. So with that, we are going to move into, I guess, Luke and Zach, what do you guys really want to talk about next?
It's up to Lucas.
It would be I guess keep going on, how the current split is going.
Yeah. So I mean, right now we have our signups for the next split out. As this split kind of comes to a close, we've seen some pretty big success this split, including our first Liquipedia mention, Woo. We got this mention through me and Avco actually competing in the weekly Sunday Hoops events. If you snag a top 4 spot, then you get mentioned. So we snagged that. Ooh, Tykobi's asking a great question in the chat on how do we plan on venturing out and to work with sponsors to expand our work. So that actually leads into something, a big project that me, Lucas, and Gold have been working on kind of behind the scenes, which is we are to kind of start with, we're entering into, it's called the Hawk Tank competition. Lucas, do you kind of want to explain what that is?
Give me 1 second. I'm having a bit of technical difficulties at the moment.
Okay, then I will just start and you can jump in when you're good.
Yep.
So the Hawk Tank is essentially a business plan competition for newer businesses to earn some startup funds. It works kind of like how if you've seen the Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, except with instead of them taking a percentage out of the company, it's just you receive a grant for the money that you could just spend how you please. And so our plan is to start investing that money into a mixture of prize pool events, promoting our socials more, and growing our team. And then in terms of venturing out to sponsors, we are kind of selective in the sponsors we want to take. And so we're procuring and securing more results. So that way we can approach more concrete sponsors, because we do not have a personal plan of reaching out to some of the less trustworthy or less shown and proven sponsors. Whatever we partner with, we want to focus on attaching ourselves to brands that I, as an individual, I as Shalona, not just to Gold and our esports, but I as Shalona, that Eucalyptus himself can say we actually support these brands and we support these brands, we support these companies, we support this product. And that's kind of us doing our due diligence to make sure we give back to our community in the best way we can. Because last thing we want to do is betray the people that have brought us to where we are. So, with that, Lucas, has your tech issues cleared up a little bit?
Yep, they're good.
Cool. So yeah, if you want to talk about the Hawk Tank a little bit more than I did.
Yeah, so you went over the basics. The Hawk Tank is a business plan competition, and so there are a few different tracks that the competition goes through. There's a high school track that high school students can enter. There's a current student track that requires at least one current student at the fort, and then there's an alumni track which alumni can enter with their business plans, and even if they already have a business, just to be able to get some more funds so that they're able to branch out a little more. And there is the joint college track, which we are actually competing against another college in the same region. So the winner of the track at our college goes against the winner of the track at the other college. And each winner of that gets $5,000, but the winner of our college against the other college, they get another $5,000. So whoever wins, both really the overall competition after each round gets a total of $10,000 that's awarded to them.
Perfect. And so with that, that's something that we've been putting a lot of work into, the split. Mr. Goldude himself, basically by himself, put out this whole merch line you see here, including a relatively new one, GHE the Big Sun design. And we've been launching it in multiple things. You know, I'm a big fan of when it comes to these types of designs. A mixture of the pins look great, the notebooks look wonderful. You know, even looking at the phone, even the phone cases themselves look great. You know, I think
the drawstring bag is a little funky, but
yeah,
that's
but
really the only one that's. Other than that, it all looks fantastic.
especially the mouse pad.
Yeah.
The mouse pad looks great.
Telling you, if I'm able to get like the desk size mouse pad of that,
Yeah, that mouse pad though.
yeah,
So, you know, this is another reason to enter into the crew clash. You know, take another 15% off that $24 there. Pick yourself up a GHG mouse pad. You know, like we start rocking and rolling a little bit. So yeah, that is. You know, we have our other designs up, and specifically, as you explore our designs, keep in mind the 2022 stuff, the 2023. These designs, these year-based designs, may get retired out in the future. So, you know, like when we enter 2024, you might not be able to pick up any of the GHE 2022 stuff except for special launches. So, you know, if you want something, now's kind of the time. The Curly Sensei, we might be able to figure something out for you in that case. But yeah, so yeah, you know, big props to Golded. Question, okay, your boy Kersey with a question in the chat. Where does the money go when you buy something, or what will it be funded into? That's a very fair question. So in terms of where does so about 20% of the cost of an item comes to us. After that, you start looking at that's Redbubble's cut. As far as where that money's going to go into, me, Lucas, and Gold Dude, we've already come to an agreement as owners of the org that really we're not taking anything from that for us into our personal accounts. Our plan is instead to shift that funding into going back into different aspects of the org, whether that's to host cash pool events, whether that's to pick up better graphic design software, whether that's to promote our tweets, whether that's to do a myriad of things, including some ideas that we'll be pitching later in the podcast. So stick around. But and Lucas, correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of seemed the consensus between you, me, and Goldwood was it's all heading back into the org, effectively.
it is all from my personal standpoint. It is all going back to the org. Like, I joke all the time about using the GHE credit card for stupid stuff like like a secret lab chair, a brand new graphics card for stuff, but I'm not going to use a cent of it for personal stuff. No. It's all gonna be back into the org. Besides the credit card that we open in Noah's name.
Yep. That's
gonna be spent on the stupid stuff.
Yes. But no, so that's kind of where we sit. Show off the stickers? Oh, you bet I can. How about I just roll with a couple of the designs? We'll start with the Big Sun stickers, because I adore them. So we have...
Follow.
So we have these stickers here. Oh, yep, a cup of icy water. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. So we have it in matte, glossy. I'm gonna update the picture. And then transparent. And then we have just other... Okay, so if I go here, other designs for the sticker. Oh yeah, right here. Cool. And so yeah, these are designs we have up and rocking right now. I'm still incredibly partial to either the GHE 2022 logo without a background or the Big Sun. Those are kind of the two that I'm incredibly partial to. I just really like this Big Sun design overall, in case y'all can't tell. So yeah. Apologies for my tracking. What were we just talking about? Ooh, you know what? I should pull up, speaking of merch, I should pull up the actual apparel line. But Lucas, Zach, what were we just talking about?
Someone asked a
where the money will
question
be spent.
about where the money was going to be spent.
Yeah, and so, as of this point, the consensus among us was, here's some hats for who was asking, is that it all goes back into the org in one way or another.
Yeah.
Because we just started this org up a little over a year ago. None of us have received a cent up to this point. I don't think us three particularly care if that changes anytime soon. That's not the goal behind this. We are doing this specifically because we care and we want to, and we genuinely enjoy it. And that is something you can quote us on until the cows come home. Yep, as Goldie just said, 15% off tomorrow for the winners. So with that being said, looking at this current split, do we want to look at how our teams are doing so far?
Sure.
Lucas, thoughts?
Yeah.
Cool. So we just had our premier team entered into a Frost Esports event yesterday. And while we didn't do the greatest, these are relatively big events, have some pretty good players joining in. We actually got to play a really good player. Some of you may know them if you keep up with the collegiate realm. But Mr. Bussy here is a CRL Worlds contender, so the Collegiate Rocket League Worlds contender. Hammy Crackers is a pretty well-known player as well. And so, I could find out exactly where we placed. Sorry, all my tab management isn't the greatest. No, but 17th out of 36 is still a respectable placement to be at. Used to be in the same org, you'll do nice. So, but 17 out of 36 in these events are pretty good, a pretty solid place to be. And so, yeah. With that being said, I'm gonna leave it up to chat. Do y'all want us to go over the Golden Cup first, or do y'all want us to go over the Up and Coming Cup first? And while y'all decide that, I'm just gonna play our intro video that Mr. Goldu made so you understand who's on what team. This is a little dated. There's gonna be some roster changes that were made that won't be featured here. And we're not gonna get into the clip section. I'm sorry. I'm gonna break some of y'all's hearts. So, of our official team splits, they are technically our lowest ranked team. Still an incredibly talented roster here. Cheech, Rosen, and Volt, and with a new addition to the team of Yulti. He joined the team after this video was made. We have Vax, Koopa, Water Lizard, and Miggy on purple. For gold, we have Mr. Gold Dude himself, Civic, Sin, Kersey, who's in the chat, and Zach, who's in call here. There's the link. Go watch the video, show it some love. Then we have our premier team. This is our top team as of the start of the split, featuring myself, Mr. Avcro, some of you may know him, Spicy. If anybody knows Mr. Shoddy Smalls, highly recommend talking with him. Really cool guy. He's actually a new addition to this premier team for in terms of everybody else, the other four of us have been around for a while. Shar's been doing great work with the team. And Mr. Slotho. Soul Taking Sloth, as some of you may know him. And that makes up our current rosters. Mr. Lucas took a break this split. Hoping I'll come back next split, I'm hoping. Maybe.
That is the plan.
So with that, I'm still looking at, do you guys want the Up and Coming Cup recap first or the Golden Cup recap first? Just haven't seen where things stand.
Are you asking us or chat?
Chat. Okay, I saw Golden Cup, and that's the second time I've asked, so we're going to Golden Cup. Let's start with our team schedules here. So while we're looking at, our teams are divided up into a couple different tiers. So in Tier 1 3v3s, we have two of our teams in GHE Premier and GHE Red. And GHE Premier's been putting in work this season. Don't mean to pat myself on the back here, but being 6-0 means quite a bit. This is an incredibly talented tier. I mean, even looking at the teams that can no longer make playoffs, these are still GC plus teams. GHE Red is in the fight for their 4th seed. They need a win this week. So does Dysfunctional, who they're fighting for it against. So does Missouri S&T Silver. They also need a win this week, and so does Backbone. So we have two incredibly important games coming up to decide, those 3rd and 4th seeds. Lucas, Zach, anything you guys want to say on this kind of Tier 1 threes we're looking at?
I think you really covered everything for Tier 1, at least. What do you think, Zach?
It's definitely a competitive tier.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats to GHE Premier for being 6-0 at the moment. Hopefully they will go 7-0.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's about it.
Wonderful. So with that, we move into Tier 2 threes, which features both our GHE Gold and GHE Purple teams. Congrats to GHE Gold on clinching 1st seed. And actually this tier is done and going into playoffs next week. We already know it's seeding. They have no week 8 games. Purple just shy of the cut at 5th, going 3 and 4. It's a little unfortunate, but hopefully next split I know they're out for blood, so we'll see how that goes. Zach, do you want to provide any kind of insight into this tier, how playing in it's been, how confident you are heading into playoffs?
Well, we're very confident heading into playoffs. We did very well. Only one loss in a game 5. And that one team sadly could not make playoffs. So, like I said, we're very confident. We almost swept every team going in. Our hardest team, I think, will be Scoop again.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, Purple could not make it. But like you said, I think that they are out for blood next season.
Ruby. With that, Mr. Lucas will be able to give us a little more insight into Tier 3 threes, kind of the same boat. All matches have been played until playoffs are done. So yeah, Lucas, if you want to take it away for Tier 3 threes.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, as Shalom mentioned, I'm not on a GHE roster for this split, but I am on Fort Lewis College JV. We clinched 2nd seed, which we're happy about that, but we're not satisfied with it. We had 3 forfeit wins in a row, which, it's great to get some forfeit wins, but at the same time, having 3 in a row, it's like you just want to play at that point. And I really think if we are able to take on Strikers Emerald in playoffs, personally, I want that revenge game. That series was so close, and I really want to take it from them.
Nice.
But yeah, tier three is, even though it is labeled, as tier 3 because that's where it is with the skill rankings, it's still very, fast-paced 3v3 gameplay.
And looking at the two teams that beat you, you don't have to play either of them in round 1 of playoffs because you're that second seed. You end up playing the third in Venom Pink, where you have the positive head-to-head. I'm actually looking at a sweep here.
Yep.
So hopefully we see him make it and win it all. You look quite well in position too, with your 2 losses being game 5s. So we'll see where that goes.
Excited.
Yes, Tycobi. You got to deal with Mr. Eucalyptus here. Tier 1-2s is also, we have a little more solidified race here. With, actually now speaking of which,
It's not out yet, I don't think.
no, so we have our top 3 teams. Well, we have 3 teams clinched for playoffs, 2 teams fighting for that 4th place spot with Anti-Mex and Red Solo Cup. And this is another tier that I play, and me and Mr. Shoddy Smalls, if he's in here, he's my 2s partner for this. We feel really good about this tier. It is a nice and competitive tier, but it just kind of feels, if we're looking at this, we've dropped 1 game. And we're 7-0 with a single game dropped. Our confidence heading into this is really high. I think we lost to probably, GHE Thumsters, another, which is one of the 2 teams for GHE Gold. They were a team that I could have saw us losing game 2. And unfortunately, Red Solo Cup had to forfeit, which was another team I could see us losing a game or 2 to. And that was really it. So now we're just kind of waiting for the season to end, and waiting to see who we play in round 1 between Anti-Mex, Red Soul Cup, and Missouri S&T Silver. So with that, we jump into tier 2-2s, which is a little more solidified of a race in terms of we have all 4 clinched teams. But the seeding situation for this is kind of weird. Zach, if you want to take this section over. It hasn't changed since we last did it.
So, if GHE Prem beats Washed FC, then GHE Golden Legion would go ahead and take the 1st seed.
Yep, which is composed of you and Sin.
Simple, yes. And then Washed would be the 2nd seed going into playoffs. If IFYB wins versus Venom Pink, they would get the 3rd seed. And even if Prem wins, they would get the 4th seed.
Yep.
Unless if IFYB loses, then Prem would get the 3rd. IFYB would get the 4th.
So Tycobi, you want to do us a favor there and beat IFYB? We'd really appreciate that. And so, but overall, the playoff race is decided. We're really just playing this week to see who has to play who round 1. And to be honest, these 4 teams, there's not really like I'd rather play blank over blank. Like, you can have your preferences, but there's not. This is a pretty solid top 4 for being tier 2-2s. This is a pretty solid grouping. And looking at it, we have teams that, between Venom Sports Pink and GHE Midnight Purple, who are also in this race up until the end, that the only reason they're out is because of their head-to-heads. If they had better head-to-heads, or they didn't have to play these teams in their season at all, they could still be in that race. So I'm really glad to see this year being as close and tight as it is. So with that, we enter our ones. This is a little more cut and dry, as all the games are done, seedings are decided. I went undefeated in the regular season of ones. And Civic, a player on gold, almost went undefeated throughout the whole season, only taking a game, only losing a set to me. So we have GHing opposing the first and second seed, with FLRN from Missouri S&T snagging up third, and Al Carls from Infinity Kingdom scooping up fourth. And this was a really tight race for that fourth seed spot, and even for third,
Yeah.
because it was the winner of Al Carls and FLRN got third, and then there was a three-way like rock paper scissors head to head between Al Carls, Rayless, and XR that went down to game win percent, and Al Carls only took it by 6%. Like, it was a very close race. And so we have our final standings for that up. And then we have our tier 2 ones. Zach, if you want to take this section over.
So I did go undefeated in once, not even dropping a single game. Sadly, me and Yulty did have to forfeit. And it was a pretty competitive. I mean, there's really the three top, in my opinion, between me, Yulty, and Kersey. But Curly and Gold Dude really did have it. I mean, it came down to one game, pretty much, a game 5.
Yep.
So, that was definitely a close game. Sad. I mean, but yeah, GHE did do pretty good in here.
I mean,
Top 3.
top 4.
That's true.
Curly Sensei still competes for the org.
That's true.
He's just not on a team right now.
All GHE playoffs, so can't really go wrong with that.
Yep. So yeah, round 1, Zach and Curly will play. Yulty and Kersey will play. And we'll see where it goes from there. Then, from here, we can move on to the up-and-coming cup. Lucas, are you good to take this section over, or do you want me to handle it?
I have no information on upcoming stuff.
Cool. So we're going to start off with the Blue Octane division over here, where Gold's in a 4-way tie in terms of record for that top spot in their division. The way these playoffs work is the top 5 out of the 10 teams in your division move on. And so being in a 4-way tie there for first means heading into the final week really is going to define who snags that top spot, with the top 3 teams getting a bye in round 1. You know, Gold has a great chance to determine their fate this week by they play Juicy Lucy at some point.
We play them tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. There we go. Over in the Orange Conference Breakout Division, GHE Red's been having a little bit of a hard time. We're hoping they can still make it. They're not out of it yet, but it's going to take quite a bit. Actually, with only 1 week left, they might be out of it. Yes, they are.
Exactly.
So, they can still claw into that 6th spot, but they are unfortunately out of it.
Very sad.
Then we have Premier and the Dominus division. We are the number 1 seed right now, but it's unfortunate we have to play White Lotus this week, which means if we lose to them, despite being 6-0 up to this point, they would have us beat on head-to-head, assuming they have a result for this week. I'm just noticing their Game 5's not played, or their Week 6 isn't played yet.
Let me go make sure it hasn't, and make sure it.
Because then it should be because if it wasn't played, it's a double forfeit, which would then mean we clinch the top seed. But regardless, we are guaranteed the 1st or 2nd spot. Carp FPS, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. And so that is where we sit right now. Moving on, before we get into individual player stats, which aren't completely updated for Golden Cup yet.
Just a little bit of an update. Their game has not been played or scheduled yet.
Okay. Kersey, we will get into predictions here in a bit. Just stay steady, man. We will get there. We have a point system we've rolled out for the GHE teams to reward being active in tournaments and placing well in them. So I have here, based on how will GHE teams perform in up-and-coming cup, they'll earn an amount of points. Any tier 1 event between 2s and 3s, any tier 2 event between 2s and 3s, tier 3, and then 1s. Has a slightly different rating point, along with we have an internal bongo buff, meaning that the best GHE team in the event or in the tier will receive an extra 2 points for their team. And we can go into team totals right now. They're shaping up a little differently than one would expect on the offset. We are looking at Premier so far in the lead with 105 out of 176 possible points they could earn based on all the events they entered into. With the bongo buff category being completely maxed out for them, we cannot earn any more there. And then all these points are based on where we've clinched to. So because we have a team clinched in tier 1 3s, tier 1 2s, and I have clinched in 1s, those are the points for if we lose out in round 1 and we don't win the 3rd place game, those are the 4th place points. Because we've clinched a top 3 seed in our division for up-and-coming cup, we automatically will get that first round bye, putting us into the round of 16, which earns us 12 points. Gold is in a pretty similar boat, with only Premier's only real advantage on them coming in from the fact that we're in tier 1 3s. So we'll see what happens there. And they haven't clinched in a top 16 spot in up-and-coming cup yet. They have clinched a playoff spot though.
Down to tomorrow.
Yep. Unfortunately, purple cannot earn any more points, so they are going to be our 4th seed. I'll explain what these points do in just a minute. And then red can only earn points through their tier 1 3s and up-and-coming cup still, which actually their up-and-coming cup is now done. So they can only earn points through their tier 1 3s placement. So what these points do is, heading into GHE's next split when the Premier tournament launches, the team that has the most points will automatically be put into the top 4 and play for becoming an official team. The 3 teams that don't have the most points will then be seeded against the lowest MMR average teams in round 1 of the Premier tournament if more than a total of 4 teams enter. Carp, don't worry. We will do a prediction for that when it comes out 100%. We plan to do these podcasts weekly. So if more than 4 teams enter, so let's say for example right now that gold becomes the second highest pointed team, they would play the lowest MMR team that signs up for the Premier event to try to become a Golden Hour Esports official team. And so that's kind of a reward system there. Signups are out. If you need a team, need a player, join the Discord. There's a looking for team, looking for player form you can fill out. Carp, nice. That's huge. I'll take a look back at back in that form in just a minute, and we'll just make who's gonna make playoff predictions. Talk about who's clinched what more in depth. Koopa, welcome in. And so with that, Lucas heading into next split. What do people need to know? Let's talk about teams we're looking at. Who do we predict to stay as a team? And just overall our broad team predictions for next split for the org.
Well, I'm gonna start with, who I think is gonna stay as a team. Obviously Premier has an automatic entry at this moment into, the Premier tournament as one of the 4 official teams. I think that they're gonna be Premier again.
So, do you want me to provide you some insight on that super quick?
Sure.
We are, as of this point, I'm going to announce this out now. We have looked into and offered somebody else a roster spot. We are encouraging Slotho and Spicy to look elsewhere team wise.
Okay, well,
So
I
it's still
think-
me, Shoddy, and Afro sticking.
Right. Well, I stand corrected, I guess. I predict
You joking, man.
I predict most of Premier to stay
There we go.
and to stay as Premier, because honestly, like as fantastic as everybody is in Golden Hour at this moment, I don't think anybody can really, compete with you guys.
Okay. Do we just want to have Zach provide a quick insight on what Gold's looking at?
Sure, I mean, I can. So, for gold, we really, we as of right now, we should be the 1 seed in going into the Premier Tournament. Things can obviously change around, and I do hope that we have quite a few teams signing up for the Premier Tournament that give us some more competition. I do think that we end up staying as gold. I'm a little biased though, but we might have some roster changes coming up. We don't really know yet. But most of us do plan on sticking around, I think. Right now it is Kersey, Civic, and Sin as the starting roster. So I'm pretty confident in those guys being able to get another team or official team for GHU next split.
Nice. So, Lucas, if you want to continue with your predictions for purple and red.
I believe that. I could honestly see both teams go either way. I could see them try to stick together and, compete again under the, through the Premier Tournament, and I could see both of them, completely splitting. So I think just with how their remaining games go, if they have any left, I think that'll just, that'll tell how it's gonna go.
Fair. So with that being said, I don't have this updated for this split yet. Ignore this document then. Zach, do you want to give your whole picture overview?
Of the teams, or
Yeah, just your predictions for where people are gonna end up.
So I do know that Purple is getting some new guys added to their roster. I don't know a lot about them guys. I'm
Mhm.
sure that they're pretty good. I'm pretty close friends with a couple of the guys on Purple, so I do hope that they can stay as a team. As Red, it's kind of hard to say with Red right now. I don't know a lot about some of those guys. I know Roses obviously was one of my former teammates, and Yulty I'm very good friends with. I think that Yulty's planning on making his own team next split with Isaiah.
That could be that could be a pretty strong team.
And with Kartope coming in, hopefully.
Potentially.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't know. It really depends on if Red's looking to stay together. I don't really know what their plans are. So, if they do stick together, though, I think that they could make a shot at gold.
Nice.
I mean, depending on obviously who signs up.
Mhm. So, the way that my predictions are looking, from the teams I know of now, obviously, I am biased towards a Premier, but I do think with how fast we grow and the skill set we already possess, I do expect us to maintain our spot as the Premier team. I encourage people to come and try to take it if you can. No, and then when it comes to the gold team spot, I do really think, depending on the team Yolti can get around if he so desires to, I think if he throws together a team, he could probably contend. I'm really looking at, it'll be quite contentious really between the three teams I expect of our current gold team, our current purple, our current red, and whatever team Yolti could put together. Like, I think depending on the day, any one of those four teams could really pull it off, and I think it's gonna be a matter of who shows up that day, who can play their hearts out and grab it. And then Lucas, the word around the Beehive is you might be putting together a team to throw a bit of competition in.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be putting together a team for next split. I've got a few people in mind already that I still need to ask if they even want to do it. But we're definitely going to enter into the Premier Tournament, and if we happen to make an official team, great, and if not, then we make it an academy team, also great. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, a return back to the competitive scene from your tragic purple run last split.
Hey now.
Speaking of which, though, okay, I keep hearing people talk about it. The purple curse. What is it? What do we think is behind it? I'm gonna throw it back to our two previous members of Purple here, because I believe you two started it.
Wow.
I started the conversation of the purple curse.
Yeah.
You want to go first or me?
Go ahead and go.
I think the purple curse is something. It's more of a joke, but it's really becoming to life now that purple, when you get placed on purple team, things don't really go your way. Such as last split, purple only winning one game in Golden Cup, and we just missed out on playoffs and up and coming, and a lot more things happen with players leaving and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm not sure all about what's happening with purple this split, but I've heard it's more of the same kind of thing. So that's really the purple curse.
I don't know if I'd say the purple curse is official yet. I mean, it's only been 2 splits with purple as a team color. So if the same thing happens next split, then there's a purple curse.
Then there's a curse. Okay, but we might be starting to see the foundation of what could be one. We hope not,
yeah,
of course. But okay, yeah, because purple was only 1 win off from 2s and 3s from still being in, like 1 decisive win out from making playoffs in them.
So what happened to us in up and coming last season?
Yeah, so
Oh.
we don't talk about Golden Cup last season.
No,
Yeah.
no, that was a mess. Lucas Gold, if you guys can talk a little bit more, I'll be right back.
Call me Gold Dude. I'm honored to be called one of the owners.
Oh yeah, totally.
Chris, you have a question. You need a question. What if we got it loaded on players and there's some team names and colors to throw into GHE as official teams?
As far as I know, we have the official team colors set, but the academy teams have not really come up a lot in conversation, like how we're gonna structure them, like color wise and everything like that. I think it's gonna be like the same kind of thing with how the unofficial teams went last season, where you just register, hey, I want to be an academy team and we want this color. That's how I imagine it's going to go, but it's something that hasn't been really talked about. At least I haven't talked about it yet, really. So
yeah. So as the one who mostly organizes the tournaments for GHE, I do have a little bit of insight into that. Kersey, to answer your question, we do plan to only stick to to 4 official teams because we plan to slowly expand the benefits they can get and keep it really competitive to stay in those slots.
Mhm.
And the reason why the official teams have the colors they do is that's really our branding. We want to hold on to our branding. Goldie's worked really hard to develop our branding. And so while we can get super stacked up as we are truly looking at like the town coming into the org is coming in at, and I think Luke's can agree, this is a pretty unprecedented rate of player growth and talent coming in.
Most definitely.
And so our goal is that we can keep offering things to everybody. So even if you don't make an official team spot, there's still a reason to be with us. And so that's really where we sit for the Premier tournament. And what you're talking about for the academy teams, for teams that participate in the Premier tournament that don't make that top 4, they will automatically be invited to grab one of our 6 academy team spots for the region as the team they signed up as. Otherwise, you will have to go through a different application. So the best way to secure yourself a spot will be to do the Premier tournament. The date isn't quite decided yet, but it's about a month out from now. And, so ideally the world we would be looking at would be having, our top 4 become official teams with 5 through 10th place automatically just becoming our academy teams. I think is kind of the dream.
Mhm.
So that's where the Premier tournament sits. And with that, the big announcement talking about signing up for next split. Rocket League changed its community tournament rules, so you only have to be 13 or older instead of 15 or older. They made distinction between the RLCS and community tournament aging.
Okay.
So previous people we've turned away for being under 15. You can now come and compete with us if you still desire to. And with that, do y'all, in terms of Luke's and Zach and the chat, do y'all want to move into Golden Cup predictions?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to be less biased, but it's hard.
Well, it's a goal for us to all give our takes. So, I mean, who wants to lead us off with tier 1 threes? Who do we think is going to get the last 2 playoff spots, their seeding, and where do we think they're going to end up?
I'll let Lucas go.
All right.
Let me open this up.
For those of you wondering what the key on the spreadsheet is, teams in dark blue are clinched. They will make a playoff spot. Teams in light blue are, if playoffs were right now, they would make it. And teams not highlighted at all mean they're still in the running. If they're in red, that unfortunately means they are out of the running.
I believe that Missouri S&T takes 3rd and Dysfunctional takes the 4th slot.
Okay.
Because I believe, besides the loss in week 6, Missouri S&T is, building on pretty good winning streak. So, they have, I think they have that to be confident about. And, and with Backbone Gaming recovering from a Game 5 loss, that could be a difference.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't see GHE Red making playoffs. They're on a losing streak right now. And again, with that Game 5 loss last week, that can, decrease morale a little bit.
Okay. Zach, what are you thinking?
So where I stand on it, I think Premier obviously will get 1. Your Throne will get 2, and it's close because it's between 5 teams. I mean, going into last week with 5 teams still in a playoff contention, that's
4.
Oh, 4, my bad. No, there's 5.
Dysfunctional, Red, Missouri, Backbone.
Oh, okay, my bad. 4, anyways. I'm gonna say Missouri and Backbone are gonna get it with Red and
So
Dysfunctional. Or can that happen?
that cannot happen because they have to play each other this week.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
So we're in a position where either Dysfunctional or Red can make it, and
Mhm.
either Missouri S&T or Backbone can make it.
Oh yeah, because they play each other.
And they all sit on 3 wins. So it's going to be the 2 teams that go to 4.
Wow. Big games this week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say then I'm gonna say Red. Even though they're on their losing streak, I think Dysfunctional, they're a little bit weary after taking the forfeit. I mean, they haven't played in a couple weeks.
Mhm.
And they played we won. Got a 3-0 sweep. I mean, they haven't played a lot this season actually with 3 forfeits, but so I'm going to say Red and Missouri. I think Missouri can take it off of Backbone. It really just depends on how Backbone's playing though.
Mhm. Okay. So for me, I think it truly is, as I was saying, a toss-up here. But I think we're on consensus. I think Missouri can take it over Backbone.
Mhm.
But that does not mean that I still believe Backbone, like, that match is going to come down to who can show up.
Mhm.
But I think Missouri S&T can show up and snag that. Now Chesso on Backbone, Spoonie on Backbone, Julian, all 3 incredibly talented players, still well within their reach to grab.
Mhm.
Then we have Red and Dysfunctional. The Dysfunctional roster we played at the start of the season, I think, could put up a run to Red. But I think Red at this point, and the talent they have and the chemistry they have, probably take it.
Mhm.
Once again, with these 4 remaining teams, any combination of the 4, I think, has the skill to make it. But I think, if we run 1,000 simulations, I think Red takes it.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, let's move into tier 2 threes. Y'all good with that?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Cool. Lucas, if you want to start us off again, talking about playoff predictions. We actually have our seedings for these, so we can actually talk about who we plan to go the distance on things.
Okay. I predict GHE Gold takes the entire thing. I mean, they've been steamrolling 3s so far. So I think it is going to be GHE Gold over, I would say, probably Scoop, depending on if they even play each other, beforehand.
So they can't, because it's only, they start so the winner of Gold, Gold plays You're Throwing Iris in round 1. Scoop plays YU Panthers. The winner of those 2 games goes into grand finals. The loser of those 2 plays for 4th and 3rd.
Okay.
And that's going to be the formatting all the way through.
Right. But yeah, I definitely think Gold is going to take the entire thing for tier 2.
Alrighty. Zach, thoughts?
I do agree. I do think that my team, and it's not even me being biased, it's just, if you look at the schedule, I mean, we swept Scoop. They were the number 1 seed at the time. Sadly, we did lose a game 5 to Bottom G's. I mean, You're Throwing Iris, who swept them, and YU Panthers took us to a game 4. Between us and You're Throwing, I think that since week 1, we have gotten tremendously better.
Mhm.
Especially with chemistry and stuff. I haven't seen a lot of You're Throwing since then. I'm sure that they're still a very good team, but I do think that we take it. Are playoffs best of 7 or 5?
They
Just-
are all best of 7.
Okay, they will all be best of 7. Okay, but yeah, I think that we'll win over You're Throwing Iris, and then between Scoop and YU, they're both very good teams. Scoop did sweep them in week
Mhm.
1. So, and Scoop I do think was our biggest challenge, even though we did lose to bottom G's. So I think that Scoop will take that. For the 3rd place match, do they have head-to-heads? It was a game 5 actually, between Your Throwing and YU. So I'm gonna go with Your Throwing to get 3rd. Scoop's I think gonna get 2nd, and we're gonna get 1st.
Okay. Okay.
But
I sit in kind of the same boat here. However, part of me really wants to say that YU Panthers has it in them to beat Scoop.
okay.
And I think to kind of provide a bit of contrast, I think it's going to be GHG Golden Panthers in the final round. Scoop playing Iris for 3rd. I think Scoop takes
upset.
3rd. I think Gold takes 1st. I don't see a world where Panthers is both beating Scoop and then Gold back to back. I don't see a world where Iris is beating any of the 3 teams above them, with the exception of maybe YU Panthers. But that's really about where the cookie crumbles, though. Is I think if there's any upset that can happen and that I can realistically see happening, it's going to be Panthers upsetting Scoop.
I like that. It's like one of the only upsets that we've had so far.
Yeah. Moving on to tier 3 threes. If y'all are okay with me starting this off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, I think with this is going to fall exactly how I see this being played out pretty much how the seeding is, with the exception of I do believe that FLC JV has it in them to win it all. So I see JV being able to beat Pink. I'm looking at. Now, granted, I do have a bias here. I play for the FLC varsity team, but I do see them being able to pull out that win. I do see Strikers beating Nork out. That being said, we don't really have a record of them because there was a forfeit that week, so it's possible. There might be a playstyle mismatch, something along that line. Because really, Nork's only lost, like 2 of their 3 losses came from forfeits.
Yeah.
So that is something to keep in mind. Of like, we truly didn't get to see how they actually stack up in this tier with 2 forfeit losses and 3 forfeit wins. Then they 3-1 won a game and 1-3 lost a game.
Yeah.
There's just not much we can know about where they sit. But to go top down, I'm going to say FLC JV can find it in them to take that game 5 and switch around this time. Strikers 2nd. I think Venom Pink can cause some issues for Nork there to scoop up 3rd. But I think there's definitely 2 teams that have set themselves apart heading into this, which is that FLC JV team and that Strikers of Chaos Animal team.
Yeah.
With that, I'll pass it off to one of you 2.
Lucas, do you want to go or?
Yeah, I can go. Well, I'm going to be shamelessly biased here. All right. FLC is taking it all the way. I would say even from our first win against Zerberus in week 1, even though we didn't get to play our Golden Cup games during, those 3 weeks that we took forfeit wins, we were still, practicing 4 days a week. So, we were definitely getting that chemistry up and everything. And then we, swept Venom Pink, which you said that we play them first round?
Yep, that'll be first round.
All right. And you said that's the 7 for playoffs, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I definitely don't think it's going to be a sweep this time because, while we do have the head-to-head, they know how we play now. So I think they're going to be prepared for us, and, we need to be prepared for them, obviously, because even though it was a sweep last time, we're not taking that lightly at all. So we're we're excited for that. And then, I should Strikers win their first round. I want that revenge on them, and I am saying FLC in 6 in the championship round.
Okay.
And
4-2.
you all are free to flame me if anything else happens.
Quote him on that.
Yep.
Okay.
Go
Can we
ahead.
get that? Can we get that clipped?
Someone clip it.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with both of you. I think that Fort Lewis College JV will probably take it, even though Strikers, I mean, they're still in the same kind of boat as Fort Lewis with a couple of forfeit wins. So, but yeah, I do think Fort Lewis will take it over Pink, or Venom Esports Pink. Strikers will probably win over Nork. And then a championship. Fort Lewis, I think, takes it. I'm gonna say Game 7.
Game 7. Okay, 4-3.
And then I'm gonna say Venom Pink's gonna take 3rd over Nork in the 3rd place game.
Alrighty. With that, we ready to move on to 2s? So, Tier 1 2s is slowly wrapping up. We have, once again, we talked about this a little bit earlier, 3 clinch teams. And teams we're just fighting out for 3rd or 4th. With 3 potential teams that could still get 4th. Only Antimex is the only team that could take the 3rd spot away from Missouri S&T. And actually, no. You know what? We are actually done.
Are we? I don't know.
Yeah, no.
But
Dread Soul Cup cannot make it.
sadly.
Unfortunately, our Dualty and Isaiah are unfortunately out of playoff contention.
That
So
does
they'll be
suck.
getting either 5th or 6th. I'll figure that out later. So we have our 4 teams in playoffs are just fighting for seeding now.
Change that for you.
Thank you.
Um,
And so with that, if we want to predict seeding and then move into bracketing, because we have our 1st and 2nd seeds laid out.
yeah. It comes down to whoever wins this week between.
Yes, it does.
So, who wants to go first?
I guess I'll start us off if y'all go with that.
That's fine.
I think Missouri S&T can beat Antimex this week. Being the only team to take a game off of me and Shadia at all.
Yeah.
On top of that, I know that actually, so one of the 2 players from Antimex is actually a player of the Missouri S&T 3s team.
Enrico.
Yep, I'm Enrico. So I believe that the chemistry there from the Missouri S&T Silver roster that stuck together, on top of, I feel they play a more disciplined 2s game, I feel. I imagine it's going to be Missouri S&T Silver as the 3rd seed, Antimex coming in at 4. I imagine and then as far as playoffs themselves are concerned, I imagine we take Antimex again. We swept them the first time. Me and Shoddy, while they're a good team, I just feel it's a pretty stylistic mismatch for them. And I feel that I think Thoomsters will take Missouri S&T again. I know that compared to week 3, Thoomsters has been playing a lot more. And so I imagine that 3-2 will actually be a little more solidified this time.
Yeah. But who do you think takes it?
I think it's still going to be me and Shadi on Premiere. I have a bias, but I also have our last game we just played in week 6, where we swept them, and the results of those games,
Yeah.
they were not 1-goal games.
Mm-hmm.
We took that pretty convincingly off them. Lucas, is that?
I guess I'll go second now. If you're alright with that, Lucas, of course.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, obviously, Zoomsters is a part of Gold. I'm not going to be too biased, but I'm still going to say they're going to well, here, I'll start with this first. I think Missouri does take it. It's going to be a very similar to Shalonna's prediction. But I think that Missouri does take a win and then have to play Zoomsters, and Premier has to play Antimex. I think Premier does take it over Antimex. I want to say easily, but probably in a game 4 or 5. I can't see it really going to a game 7 considering y'all swept them. And I really just don't know how much that they're playing really, but and then Zoomsters will probably they have been playing a ton more recently. I'm very close with the two of them, so I think that this will also be a game 5 or 6, and then the championship. I think it's gonna be closer than what Shalonna thinks. I think that their team still does take it, but it's gonna be in a game like 6 or 7.
Interesting. Okay. Can we get that clipped?
All right, go ahead, clip it. I'm confident. But and then third, I'll give it to Missouri. I think, like you said, they know a lot about Enrico, so. Right, Lucas.
Yeah, I believe that Premier is going to take it all. I see them having a couple of challenging games. I would say series against Antimex is going to go to 5 games, and I think that S&T Silver can. I'm sorry. That S&T Silver can reverse the game 5, so they can take Doomster's game 5 and then win game 5. And then I see S&T Silver taking a couple games off of Premier in the championship round, and with Premier winning in 6.
Interesting. Okay.
And I would say that even though the Doomster's regular season matchup with Antimex was a forfeit, I believe that series goes to 6 games with Doomsters coming out on top for 3rd place.
Interesting. Okay. Tier 2 twos. I know that Mr. Carp himself has been waiting for this.
Same.
So we're in another situation where we're just waiting on seeding, but we have our playoffs figured out. I do have Do you want to go first because you play in here?
I was actually gonna go last.
Go last? Okay, bet. So, Lucas, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Again, with
on the left.
Yeah, with how Gold was with their 3s, I believe that they will be on top again. As Golden Legion, they will take championship. But I think with that, Watch FC is going to get 2nd seed. I think Premier can get 3rd seed, and IFYB gets 4th seed. So with 3rd and 4th seed, I think Golden Legion is gonna take IFYB to game 5 to go to championship, and then I think Premier is gonna take Watched FC to game 7 to get to the championship round, and then I would say I'd love to see this championship round go to 7 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So, with that, I think Prem gets 4 seed. I know I'm biased towards them, but I do think they get 4 seed because they have 2 things they're contingent on. It's contingent on them beating Washed FC and Venom Pink beating IFYB, both of which are possible. But I think just due to having more steps needed, the fact that they're not really in charge of their own fate, for me is the big thing that puts me off of putting them at third. With that, I think IFYB will get third, and then really, once again, it comes down to a situation of I think Golden Legion gets second because they're not really in charge of their own fate anymore. It's really a matter of Prem needs to be washed, and with Prem, only having one played out loss and beating Purple, the only team to beat Washed FC. Do I think they could? Absolutely. But I also know that when it comes down to it as well, with the Prem roster in place, it is an incredibly hit or miss roster. And so I don't see them. So I just do it once again. Can they be Washed FC? Yes. I just don't think it's the most likely thing. So I'm going to say order is Washed FC, Golden Legion, IFYB, and Prem. Now, when it comes to round one, I think Golden Legion beats whoever they have to play round one, whether that's Prem or IFYB. But then Washed FC having to play Prem a second time, I think it's a matter of no matter what, Washed FC has to play Prem round one of playoffs. That's a determined matchup.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, I do think. I think if Prem beats Washed FC the first time, I don't think they're beating them the second time. But I think if they lose, it's their consistency. I think they have it in them to win one of the sets. But I think over 7 games, looking at playoffs, I think Washed FC just has the consistency to overtake them. As long as they don't go down, 3 games, as long as Washed doesn't lose the first 3 games and put them on game point and force a reverse sweep, especially if Washed FC can pull ahead and go 2 games up, 3 games up, I don't think Prem's walking out of that.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to Golden Legion, Washed FC, the bias in me wants to say the Golden Legion can take it, and that is what I'm going to say. But Washed FC, Carp, they're more than capable of taking it off of them as well. I think that's going to be one of the closest games we'll see coming out of this tier. And with that, I will pass it over to you, Zach. And Carp, it's a matter of you're right. I haven't gotten to watch y'all a lot, but I know the guys on Prem, and if you guys go 1 or 2 games up, it's very hard for them to come back.
Okay, so I'm gonna go into a little more depth since I play in this tier, and I know a lot about these teams. So with Venom Pink and IFYB, we'll start with that. I think IFYB will probably 3-0 sweep. No offense to Pink, they're a good team. It's just IFYB, they're getting their starter back off his vacation. I think that they'll 3-0 sweep. And then the game of the week, definitely, in my opinion, Washed FC versus Prem. It's a close game. I think Wash takes it though. I think, like you said, it's hit or miss with the Prem roster. How is Spicy's internet gonna be? We saw him disconnect out of the Purple game a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
So if that could happen again, we don't know. But yeah, I think Wash will take it. So it would be Wash 1, Golden Legion 2, IFYB 3, and Prem 4. So back-to-back weeks that Prem's got to play Washed. Game 7. I've never really seen Spicy and Sloth play very much. Obviously they took a forfeit to us. I don't know how they are in highly rewarding games. So I don't know. I'm gonna say Washed again, but it's gonna be a close one. It's gonna be even closer than the first series. Even though obviously they're GHE boys, but I would much rather go play Carp in the finals than I think that we also beat IFYB. I mean, we did 3-0 sweep them, but yeah, I think then goes in the finals, us versus Wash FC. They did beat us in a game 5 back in week 4. Yeah. I don't know how much they've practiced. I know they're on a 3s team, but me and Sin practice pretty often. I think that we could take it in a game 6 or 7. But very close between the top 4. And then Prem's gonna take 3rd over IFYB. So that is true, they do have that CRL, but
Okay, sorry, we're having an incident come up. We're having an issue coming up in a 2s game right now, actually.
oh really? Which one?
The anti-Mexican Missouri game, actually. A ticket was just put in. If one of you two wants to get in touch with the ticket creator and see what's happening. Or if Gold Dude can. But that's gonna be an issue.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's actually a really important game with the result on the line. With that being said, we're just going to carry on our end. And with that being said, heading into Tier 1-1s, where the playoff seedings are set, I'm going to be perfectly blunt. I think it's me and Civic in the final round. And just because it's me, I beat Civic last time. While it says it was a sweep, all the games were actually 6-5. They were all 1-goal games each time. And so, while I see myself taking it, I see it being a game 6, a game 7 situation with him. And then I see FLRN repeating his week 7 result in beating out Carls. I think FLRN had a playstyle that is just more suited to the environment itself. I think he plays a little bit more of a disciplined game. I think Outcross is a little more equipped for a different mode. And so I think it's going to go me, Civic, FLRN, and then Outcross.
I guess I'll go second since I went last time. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm pretty set to where you and Civic will be there, but I think that sweep doesn't really show how close those games really were. I think it could easily go to a game 7. It's kind of hard to say, you know. It's also because who's playing good that day. You gotta, I mean, I've 1v1'd you guys both a lot. I think that Shalona probably will take it game 6 or 7 though. And I think that El Carls will actually beat FLRN. I think he's a little bit trying to get back at him for some other things, but yeah.
Fair. Look at what you're looking at.
Before I start, Zach, take a look at your DM. Well, take a look at the ticket and then take a look at your DM.
I got you.
But I would say for this one's I think that you would, take the crown. Take first. You already have first seed, so I think that you're going championship and
Tour Tier 1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
We are still in Tier 1-1s, right?
Yes, we are. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, so I definitely think that you take that first place and you to take the championship for ones, because based on my experience with playing you in ones, you make me cry. So
Oh no. Oh god, hold on. Um,
You good?
yeah, hold on. I'm having technical difficulties again.
Okay, so here's Zach. Do you want to start to give your pitch?
I already did.
Oh yeah, you did. You did. My bad.
Sadly, he's last, but
We shall see.
I'm also filling this ticket. But
Yeah.
All right, can you guys hear me again?
yes.
Oh God, I can't hear you. Hold on.
Oh boy.
Zach, I'm looking at the ticket, or even just the game.
Come on.
That's just what Lucas.
There we
so.
Yeah, it's
There
either the series or the game. Okay, so with that, Lucas.
Okay, I am.
Okay, so you've predicted me first and Civic second, I believe.
Yes. So you first, Civic second, and then I would think based on previous results, I think El Carls is gonna win that third place
Okay.
spot.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, he did take me to a game 5.
Yeah.
He's still quite good. Righty, and on to our last tier. Tier 2 ones. Zach, you want to start us?
Sure. Oh man, this is gonna make me sound really biased, but I'll go with the playoffs first. So I gotta play Curly. I did end up sweeping Curly. Everybody else in the playoffs did sweep Curly besides Yolty. Looks like he did get a forfeit. Or no, wait, no. He did sweep him. I think I beat Curly in the playoffs. Game 4 or 5. I mean, I 1v1 Curly quite a bit on his streams, so. Now Kersey and Yolty. Kersey's out for blood. He's not very happy that he lost to me in a 3-0. He wants his revenge game. So, but I don't think he gets it. I think Yolty's is just too good of a player for him. No offense to Kersey, obviously he's on my team. But yeah. So then Kersey and Curly for the third. I think Kersey gets it. And then me and Yolty. He had to take a forfeit to me because he was sick. So kind of unfortunate, but it's just kind of hard because both of us haven't dropped a game all season besides that. I think I'm gonna take it. Game 6 or 7. But close games, like 1 or 2 goals. So that's kind of
Groovy.
where I stand.
Makes sense to me. So with that,
Which should also mean that I won all 3 of my predictions, but hey, you did the same thing.
Draw with me. I'm just gonna keep it simple. I think a GHE representative is gonna win it all, and I'm gonna close it
really?
out there.
I think
So-
that's a good way to close that out.
So with that, just a quick little reminder: if you're looking for a team or player to compete with in GHE, we have 2 forms up. Don't be afraid to use them. Sign up. We'd love to have you all competing. We have a crew clash tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Promo code for our Redbubble and our merch: 15% to the winners. Enter up and join that. I have it linked and pinned in the chat there for y'all. We have our point system we went through. Stats are coming to a close over this week. Don't be afraid to look at those docs. If your team's in yellow, that means your stats are finalized. and I'll be putting leaderboards around. It is not based off pure numbers this time. It will be based off the amount of sets your team played. So that's for 2s and 3s. Once again, merch made by Gold Dude did an excellent job. The hoodies and the shirts look awesome. You know, our first ever Liquipedia mention. You'll be able to catch our premier team, or our current premier team anyway, in the RLCS Open quals next month. Come on and give us some support for that. And then with that, follow our Twitter, follow us on Twitch, and go to our YouTube. We have just brought on a permanent video producer, which we've been looking to. We have Mr. Avcro himself who's going to start producing content for us. So, you know, there's actually going to be stuff going up onto our YouTube. So, you know, give that a follow. Don't miss any of our content. Remember, sign up. Crew Clash. Next season Gold Cup signups coming out soon. Be a GHE team. Become an official player. We like to provide a home for everybody. You're all beautiful people. Lucas, Zach, anything you want to say as we close this out? 9 seconds.
God.
Thank you for everybody for joining the stream. Sign up for the Crew Clash.
Thank you everybody. Thank you Shalona and Lucas for having me as the first guest of the Golden Hour podcast. It was fun. And yeah.
Wonderful. With that, we're gonna go raid our wonderful Curly Sensei. He's live right now, so we're gonna go and do that. Show him some love, show him some support. Awesome guy. And have a beautiful night, y'all.